And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Hello and welcome to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League live tonight from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course here in Ohio. Race 7 of 10. It's, again, a 2-race format, 20-minute endurance races. My name is Adam Baker. I'm up here in the booth for Team V-Speed. We've also got Bradley Cooper here joining me tonight, as definitely going to be an exciting race. Mid-Ohio, one of the more challenging and high-speed tracks, and these GT3 cars should pose an interesting challenge. They make their way around here. I know you're located over there in Ohio. Have you ever been to the Mid-Ohio course?
Mid-Ohio course, yeah, I've been there once, and it was long ago before they had any NASCAR contracts. I remember the stock car scene coming here and Danica Patrick having a good race. It kind of sticks in my mind. But yeah, been at the course a couple times. There's also a huge drag strip near the area that I've actually been to quite a few times. So an exciting place and very narrow.
Yeah, definitely a narrow racetrack, and some of these GT3 cars are a little bit wide. The Ferraris, you can see those out there. The BMWs, Porsches also have pretty a wide rear end on them, and I don't think we have any Mercedes or anything, which are probably the biggest car. But Darren Treacle, a couple time race winner in this league, to say the least. Already a winner this season. He's out here in the BMW once again. Different change up from him, usually in the Mercedes. As qualifying is wrapping up, it'll be Andy Schiel, who's been the best so far this season with multiple poles and multiple wins, and he's gonna get the deficit of the invert. He'll go back to the 12th position at the start of this race. We're gonna pull up the starting grid and run through tonight's qualifying times and see where your favorite drivers are starting. Make sure to chat, like, subscribe, and comment who you think is gonna win tonight's race. It is going to be Andy Schiel quickest in qualifying, Clint Fletcher second fastest as well. Going to be right back there with Andy, starting 11th and 12th. Third and fourth quickest was Maddox Razzo, which is a new name that we have not seen here in the league before. And we got Darren Treacle fourth quickest in qualifying. Fifth quickest Brian Kennedy, sixth was Bruce Wiley, seventh Michael Pavlano, Aaron Dietrich, eighth fastest, ninth fastest Colin Kortnick, Matthew Gazenda, 10th quickest, Perry Duncan 11th, David Curtis 12th, Carlos Bonds 13th, Scott Kim in 14th, Jakub Bielik in 15th, Mike Nickum 16th in this field, and that is going to do it. 16 drivers, so a good sized field once again this season, and it is race number 7, so things are starting to wind down here in this winter season for the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing Series. Only a few more to go as we are getting things ready. Pace car is in front, and we'll be rolling off shortly. Bradley, I believe I gotta share my content with you here, so let me do that. You can see what's going on.
I hopped into the session here already looking at the front runners and the names, the list, all so familiar to me. Colin Kortnick, one of those drivers that sticks out to me, sitting in the, I believe that'd be the third position or fourth spot here on the outside.
Yep, and we are about to go green, and there it is. David Curtis and Perry Duncan up there at the front. The benefit of the invert of the top 12, and they're going to lead the field down into turn 1. The Ferrari 296 GT3 David Curtis is going to lead him through. He'll head to turn number 2 as we're side by side for about 5th and 6th, and almost looking 3 wide for a moment.
Couple drivers stuck on that outside, and into turn 1, this long sweeping right-hander, it's kind of impedes your line. You can't exit the way you want. You see a couple cars go out into the grass there on the exit, and that's kind of the product of this track so narrow.
Yeah, definitely really narrow, and we'll see the benefit of some extra horsepower in some of these machines. They're not exactly equal. The Porsche is a little bit more agile in the curvy bits of the track, and then some of these cars, the BMWs, the Ferraris, maybe a little bit quicker in the straight line. And there's
Tight
only
battle for the lead in the 8th round. Perry Duncan gets turned on the apex. And he's lost the nose on that, I believe that's a Corvette, or it was.
Yeah, let's
the
take a
8
look
car's
here.
off.
That was Perry Duncan up at the front. He was battling there. And yeah, a little contact with David Curtis, and he
Chopped
goes
the
around.
nose. David just chopped the nose on him, took it a little too shallow in the entry, and Perry didn't really have anywhere to go.
Yeah, and we're going to go back live now. He's got no front end on that car. And I believe Andy Schiel made some contact with him. So Andy has won a lot of races this season. He's been the fastest week in and week out. He does have a little bit of front end damage on his Porsche machine, the number 6 there. So look for Andy Schiel to try and make his way forward. But you can see he's going off in the grass a little bit, trying to get a little bit of clean air to that nose. But I'm not sure how much it's going to affect the handling. And he's suffered damage at other points in other races. And yet continues to be competitive throughout the rest of the event. He's got 17.5 minutes plus left in this one, so plenty of time to recover. As we got a battle.
That changed. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say a battle for 6th and 7th. Matic Razzo and Matthew Gazenda. This is where we saw the incident last lap. Really tight racing here.
I was going to say that something that's changed since these drivers started here on V-Speed. The first time I covered them, they were in GTE cars, and now switching over, a little more horsepower, and it seems like the Ferraris and the BMWs are a little bit better on the bigger, longer straightaway tracks than the Porsches are. So this track kind of fits into that. It's got some long, high-speed corners. But then through the technical side.
Contact there.
Track.
Bruce Wiley, and that was Andy Schiel, and we've got the 11 machine around. That is Aaron Dietrich, who is running up towards the front there. Let's take a look at what happened to him. I think he might have just lost it all on his own here. Some of these drivers have seen in the BMWs at times. Yeah, he goes around and off the racetrack, so no harm, no foul for anybody else as he gets back rolling. But that was a little mistake there from Aaron, who we're used to seeing running up towards the front in these GT3 cars. But yeah, Andy Schiel got into it with, that was Bruce Wiley in his Canadian flag adorned Ferrari machine. And Bruce was a winner in the league in one of these races this season. So by no means, you know, an easy out in any of these races. He is definitely a competitor, you know, fierce competitor in this league. And you saw Andy Schiel, and it was trying to hold him back as much as possible there. It looks like they made a little contact. But out in front, we'll go back to the lead. David Curtis continues to show the way.
He's being kept in check, though. Colin Kortanek has not let him out of his sight. He's hunting right there, about half a second behind. And through the more technical parts, you see this Ferrari pull away a little bit. The BMW a little bit wider, but has excellent straightaway stability.
Yeah, and here comes Pavolano now, going to look driver's left, headed down towards turn number 1. A driver that we've seen, he doesn't like to back out of it. If there's an opportunity to make a pass, he is going to go for it. And has bit him a few times, but it's also gotten him a lot of positions over the last couple of years in all the races that we've seen, as he now goes alongside drivers right. Really tight racing there from the 32 of Kornick, and he's going to be able to hold him off. But definitely charging is that 111. He's up 3 positions. Right behind him, though, Darren Treacle. He has gained 5 spots in this race. Maddox Razzo as well. Clint Fletcher, who we've seen the last few weeks, has performed incredibly well, and he continues to march through this field, 5 positions up already. But yeah, like you said, definitely pros and cons to each car that you would pick, and that's the difference between series like this and something where they might be running all the same car.
Oh, he's transitioned past the Honda bridge and go on to these long straightaways. That Porsche loses that little bit of an edge. You saw him come into that carousel, very turn 1 to get to the inside. That's probably not where you want to be side by side. If there's any place on this racetrack, a car off, that's going to be Pavolano. He's going to lose it.
Yeah, it goes a little bit too wide there in the final corner. It's going to cost him a spot to Maddox Razzo, and now here comes Clint Fletcher in another Porsche. He's going to be right alongside as they dive into turn 1, but that aggressive driving by Pavolano cost him there as he went to look to driver's left of, I believe that was Colin Kortnick, and now he's going to take a peek down on Clint Fletcher here, but nothing doing at that exact moment. But yeah, nose to tail Maddox Razzo, he's caught up to the back of Darren Treacle, so this could be a battle developing for a podium spot.
All these names, it's like riding a bike, trying to pronounce them again. Pavolano was one of them. Gazinda. Good to see these guys back, though. Successful season. I mean, 16 cars. I think we were down to 12 or 14 when we ended last year.
Yeah, these guys have definitely had a good season in terms of participation, and then the racing action's been awesome as well. As around goes Kortnick there, Colin Kortnick into 32. And
he's going to lose 7 spots after that.
Oh,
and almost some contact.
Yeah, he pulled out onto the racetrack just a little bit there. Let's go back to the replay again. Looked like, again, the BMW just a little bit tail happy. Yeah, a little too much on the brakes through that transition.
Oh, and now he's into the side. We go back live, the 224. Oh, Carlos Bonds gets involved with him.
Wow, it goes from bad to worse. Oh, big hit too. Let's see if we can find that.
A lot to unpack with the 32 in just a lap.
Oh man, yeah, it looked like the 224 kind of just was not clear, and around goes Colin again, and I think that may be the end of his competitive heat race.
Hey, on the bright side, he'll start up front for the next one.
Well, he's got to get to 12th position to do that, so it's only the top 12 that invert. So right now he runs 14th. He'll have to pick up. Looks like.
That's correct.
Yeah, he'll have to pick up about 6 seconds to get to Aaron Dietrich, who currently runs in that transfer spot. But
he's got time.
Yeah, on the bright side, all 15 drivers that are in this heat race are going to earn points for it. That's usually the cap, is 15 drivers for points. Nobody's going to miss out on any points tonight, but it's whether or not you can get a few more in the next
He's
half.
Still struggling. I'm back here watching him. He went off track. He's trying to chase him down. And you look at the best lap times, he's a second and a half faster than Carlos Bonds. He has this pace. It's just, can he keep on the track? The frustration has sank in.
Yeah, and I'm sure the tires are cooked a little bit there, as we do have a change for position further up. Looks like Michael Pavolano's gotten by Brian Kennedy. He'll go to 5th, and then Matthew Gazenda and Andy Schiel are doing battle 7th and 8th. And there goes Gazenda, very wide off turn 1. He'll give the spot up. So the number 6 of Andy Schiel continuing to march forward, up 5 spots after his early issues. But still the big movers in this one. Darren Treacle, Maddox Razzo, and Clint Fletcher all up 7 positions, and they are hunting the race leader, David Curtis, right now.
Curtis had the pressure alleviated when the 32 made the mistake. He pulls out. He's maintained about 0.8 of a second, but it only takes one little mistake to give it all back.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of drivers make mistakes already in this one, and it is a very challenging and skillful racetrack here at Mid-Ohio. You've got to deal with all these elevation transitions, kind of some off camber at times too, which is really tough no matter what kind of car you're in. But it's fun to see GT3 machines. I don't think I've ever seen these cars out here before. But yeah, they've run a variety of vehicles in this league, and really the best ones have been GT4s and GT3s in terms of action and competitiveness. As Pavolano
round. Another case of locking it up, maybe?
No,
just sweeping around.
Yeah, a little bit rear end happy on the Porsche with that rear engine. Just not quite able to control that. Everybody able to avoid him though, so that is good. As we go back live, he has fallen now to 12th, which could be good for him though. If he stays around here, he'll end up starting the feature race up towards the front. And we saw that, I think it was a couple of weeks, the last 2 weeks, really that has been to the benefit of the driver who started in the lead in the feature race. They ended up going on to win the events. But right now, Darren Treacle, Maddox Razzo nose to tail, and they are again closing in. Last lap, they were about a half second quicker than David Curtis. And that gap continues to close here now down to about 6.5 tenths. And Clint Fletcher is closing in too.
9 minutes left. The top four starts to shrink up. You can see Darren Treacle within half a second now as they go through the second to last turn down to the straightaway. And I tell you what, there's only been maybe one or two guys. You were talking about the inversion of the field and guys that benefited from starting or finishing 12th going up to the front. But there's only been one driver that I've ever seen race his way back up to almost getting a win, but I've never seen the same driver win in both heats.
Yeah, so we've actually had that a couple of times this season. Andy Schiel has been able to do it, and it wasn't easy, but he did it back-to-back weeks, and I had never seen it up until that point either. Yeah, so he has definitely been on a tear, and you know, he's up 6 positions in this one, even with the damage. And could very easily get up there and get Brian Kennedy before it's said and done. His fastest lap time. Not quite the quickest in this race, but consistently one of the fastest cars on the track. Last time by, he was the fastest by just about 1/100th of a second over Clint Fletcher, who is the fastest of the top 4. And really benefiting from those guys being so close to each other. He's got a nice big wake to draft up. But yeah, I had never seen anyone really have that sweep, that night sweep, but Andy Schiel has done it 2 times this season, and Darren Treacle was close a couple of times. So definitely been strong seasons from both of those drivers. And right now Treacle is second in points. Comes in about 25 or 30 points behind Andy Schiel, so really needs to gain as many as possible. And right now he's about to gain 4 points as they run, but he's also under heavy pressure. Oh, and he lost the back bumper.
Just holding him back. It's okay.
I think they put it back on somehow there, but yeah, Treacle under heavy pressure, and that is costing him any progress towards David Curtis. He's so busy defending. And what is Razzo going to do?
He's going to weave back and forth and try to catch this guy in a mistake. It doesn't happen here. While these guys mix it up, though, a little contact almost there in the entrance. David Curtis is starting to pull away.
Clint Fletcher is closed right up to the back of the 66. And if they continue to battle like this, it's very possible Brian Kennedy and Andy Schiel could be right there with them at the end of this thing. We had a couple races so far this season where, you know, we had about 7 or 8 cars under a blanket with less than 5 minutes to go, battling for the win. And you know, I think that could be the case here in this one as Treacle overshoots the turn a little bit, able to recover. But Maddox Razzo, the newcomer,
on.
Yeah, he really putting on really good performance here.
And you can see some of these drivers kind of relax for the first 10 minutes out, and they save the tires. They let these guys go up here and duke it out, and then 5 minutes to go, they have the tires to come up here and race them. And you know, mistakes get made in the last couple of minutes.
He sends it through the grass.
Really used up.
Yeah, really used up.
He touched him back there on the exit. That was a sin from the 66 as he goes after David Curtis now.
We're going to take a look at the replay there. He really did send it down into the turn. Maddox Razzo to driver's right, and Treacle shut the door, but it was a little bit too late. And yeah, he got right back into him. I'm not sure if he was just trying to tuck in behind. It looked like he was maybe going for the corner of the race car, but Darren, usually very respectful driver here, so I tend to doubt that, but might have seen an opportunity for the heat win slip away with Razzo now starting to pull a couple car length gap over the 70. Here comes Clint Fletcher with a head of steam as well.
Welcome to the party. Guys have slowly relaxed down, and the top 4 have accordion now. We're going to have 6 cars, it looks like. Schiel is not too far back. They're about equal gap-wise. I see Brian
Schiel.
Kennedy probably the next 5 laps.
Yeah, he could get up to the back of Clint Fletcher. Again, he's kind of benefiting from that draft of all those cars, and those guys losing a lot of lap time. They were about a second and a half slower than their fastest times, just because of the battling that they're doing, and that's really, something you see here in road racing. As soon as you get into a battle, you're going to see that lap time just fall away, and it's a little bit different
Hard
than
to stay in rhythm.
Yeah, it really is hard to stay in rhythm. You got to accommodate for the other driver and try not to run them over, or give them enough space to run, which really affects the way you get through some of these turns. And you can see even in defending, the lap times are going to fall by a little bit from their fast times. And yeah, Treacle a little bit offline right there, trying to close up, but struggling right now, sandwiched between these 2 Porsches. And taking a look at lap times, it was Andy Schiel again, fastest car on the racetrack, 122.58. About a half-second quicker than your race leader, and we've got, we're coming back to 3 laps to go, give or take. David Curtis continuing to show the way. He has led all 12 laps after starting up at the front. Nobody's been able to catch him, but Maddox Razzo starting to close the gap once again, was 0.2 quicker. Gonna have to be a little bit better than that. But obviously,
I just wanted to voice Colin Kortanix went off track again. He lost some more positions. He's been struggling ever since we lost him there at the 2nd position, and he went down pit road. I think he's had enough.
Yeah, probably calling it an event here. Well, actually, no, he's pulling back on track. Maybe just getting out of the way, knowing that he's been struggling here. But, yeah, unfortunate turn of events there for the 32. And he'll have to give it another shot in the feature race. We'll see how he does. If he learned anything from this one.
Well, they're learning out here. I mean, they're capitalizing on all the knowledge, but I think that what they've learned the most is that these tires don't have much left.
Yeah, that is the thing with these GT3 cars. You can really push them for the first half of the race, but no matter how easy you take it, really, they do start to fall off. These cars have so much grip to begin, but the Pirellis, or I believe they're Pirellis, maybe Michelin's on them, are not able to withstand all the force that they're applied. But we are counting down here, 1.5 minutes or so to go in this one. It'll be the white flag next time around, and the gap now for the race lead under a half second.
We've got 5 cars that are within striking distance if that leader makes a mistake.
Yeah, Brian Kennedy, fastest car on the track last time around. He actually ran his fastest lap of the race, so he has found it, found that speed, found that pace late in the going.
Picked a fine time to do it.
Yeah, he's gonna.
This is where it counts.
Maybe be able to get into position if these guys do get together. Yeah, 3-car battle for second. David Curtis still about 3 or 4 car lengths out in front, continuing to show the way. Very impressive run for him after actually just being 12th quickest in qualifying. That's how he got up here. He got the invert, the benefit of that, and he's been able to hang on to it, which is not usually the case. We'll see guys qualify 12th fastest, start up front, and then they just fall through the field. But he's got 1 more lap to hang on in this heat race. And here we go, white flag in the air. Final lap for the heat race here at Mid-Ohio. David Curtis, a mirror full.
Razzo's going to give him a run for his money here. He's been setting him up and kind of poking and prodding, finding the weak spots. But he's still going to play a little defense with that 3rd position driver sending it there.
Yeah, that was Treacle, who pulled almost the same move that Maddox did. A few laps ago.
There by Treacle.
Oh yeah, here comes Clint Fletcher. He wants on the podium. And he's going to look drivers left, really send it down into the corner. try and hang on that left rear quarter panel. Not going to be able to. But Maddox Razzo, good run through the S's here, and he is just about a car length behind.
I don't know if he's got it, though. He sends it in the entrance, but loses it on the exit.
Oh, but
Looks
maybe...
like Curtis is...
Yeah, he went a little offline right there.
Just gonna get another shot right here.
Couple more corners, couple more opportunities. Possibly he sends it down in the corner, hard on the brakes.
Nothing there.
David Curtis gonna have to hang on through the final set of turns through the last little chicane, and he's gonna be able to do it. Off the final corner. It's gonna be a drag race to the line, but David Curtis gonna get it.
And held on to it. And then, you know, the ritual.
The ritual. That's a good way to put it. But how about that race? Great action up front. And the rest of the field is going to filter on through as we will pull up. Actually, it looks like there might be a change for position further back. Nope, Scott Kim able to come across the line. Yeah, so we'll pull up.
They're not
done. Still piling in. We're going to pull up the race results, though, before we head to the halfway break. David Curtis able to take the win there in an exciting finish. Maddox Razzo second, Darren Trickle third, Clint Fletcher fourth, Brian Kennedy fifth, Andy Schiel sixth, Bruce Wiley seventh, Matthew Gazenda eighth, Carlos Bonds and Scott Kim the top 10 as they still continue to fly in. There's the rest of your field there. As we are going to head to our halfway break, we will be right back with your feature event. From the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, Trading Paints, or via email. Matt Motorsports is a sim racing rentals and events company. We supply businesses and individuals with sim rigs for all types of events, from birthdays and bachelor parties to team building retreats and corporate events. We have packages to suit all types of occasions. Founded by an automotive industry veteran and BMW lover, Matt Motorsports' mission is to spark joy in current and future car enthusiasts. Learn more at mattmotorsports.com. This season of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League is brought to you by Gunfire Games, developers of the hit game Remnant 2, now available for PC, PS5, and Xbox. For more information on Remnant 2, visit www.remnantgame.com. Back at the racetrack now for our feature event here tonight at Mid-Ohio. It's going to be Jakub Bielik starting up at the front of the field. Michael Pavolano going to start alongside him as well, as they are going to be the beneficiaries of the invert. Michael Pavolano is a driver that I think if he doesn't make any mistakes in this one could have a good shot at taking the win. Scott Kim going to be up there, Carlos Bonds, Matthew Gazenda, Bruce Wiley, Andy Schiel going to start a little bit closer to the front, so keep an eye on that 6 machine to charge through and maybe get up there and get the feature win. Been a couple of weeks since we've seen him up on the top step of the podium, but definitely has an opportunity here tonight. It's definitely an exciting race, and you just saw the sponsors for this season. And that is the Matt Motorsports crew over there, Gunfire Games, as well as Duncan Racing Designs. Make sure to check them out as green flag is in the air here from Mid-Ohio for the feature event. Jakub Bielik, good start. Michael Pavolano right on his tail into turn number 1.
And as an outline on the front of that machine, that BMW. Getting a decent jump here on the start, but under pressure already from Pavolano, and we've seen Pavolano lead a lot of laps here on V-Speed. If you give him a chance to get up front in some clean air, he'll check out from the field.
Yeah, he is going to be aggressive here. Look at this big move to peek out to drivers right. Not going to be able to do it. How about Andy Schiel already taking 4th position away from Matthew Gazenda? He wants
Carlos Bonds under fire. They're deep in this field, back and forth. A big traffic jam.
Yeah, big jam right there. 10th position, as it is Razzo, Curtis, Perry Duncan, Colin Kortnick, and Aaron Dietrich back there at the tail end of the field. But so far, so good for all of these drivers. Here on lap number 1, side-by-side battle. Looks like Scott Kim and Andy Schiel. That's for 3rd position. And Scott could be able to hold him off.
Are we going to make it a whole lap, Adam? Are we going to make a whole lap without somebody making a mistake?
I don't know. We got the last corner, and they are piling down in there. Well, looks good. Oh, almost a close call. Perry Duncan, David Curtis nearly making contact, but that is 1 lap in the books. Nobody going for a slide. Nice job. Scott Kim.
Keep them bunched up here, all 15.
Yeah, Scott Kim gives up 3rd position. That is Schiel now moving on through. Here comes Michael Pavolano, going to look to the outside of turn number 2, and he's going to get a really nice run through the center. Be able to carry that momentum off the corner, and he's going to take the lead away.
Ooh. Little contact, I think. He used the grass to exit that corner and maybe touch Jakub there on the exit. He's going to peek back to driver's right, but he's going to lose a spot. Open up the door now for Andy Schiel.
Yeah, Schiel able to get on through, and he's already up to 2nd, and that is not what Michael Pavolano probably wants to see. The fastest car this whole season, once again challenging.
In his mirror. He's aggressive on those apexes too. He's not just diving it in deep. He's setting the nose and driving off. Filling that mirror.
That's been the difference, as we did have an issue. Brian Kennedy has gone around, and he's going to get the car righted around. Not sure. Let's see, we can take a replay look at this, and I think it may have been all on his own. Yeah, just checked up hard and then got tagged by Bruce Wiley. Goes for the spin cycle, and then everybody able to avoid him. Close call for Perry Duncan. But we will go back live. He's at the tail end of the field in 15th as the battle for the lead is on. And it's Pavolano and Schiel going at it in the 2 Porsches.
They've pulled away from the rest of this field so far, about 1.7 seconds back to the 3rd place driver. And then you've got Clint Fletcher with Scott Kim, Matthew Gazenda. These 3 still right on top of each other. A little tire saving, I'd say, from about 5th place on back.
Yeah, and then you got Darren Treacle now taking a peek on Bruce Wiley. Darren, again, one of those drivers we'd expect to charge through the field in this one. And then Maddox Razzo, very impressive heat race. Unfortunately, had to start all the way back in 11th. Up 2 positions right now. That's 66 on the move. Colin Kortnick up 4 positions, so trying to just do a little bit better than the heat race and apply what he may have learned. But just sliding the back end of that car right now. It's going to have to clean that up a little bit if he wants the tires to hang on for the next 15 minutes. And that's what you'll see here. Some of these guys who are very smooth, that save the tires but keep the speed in the race car, they're the guys that you'll see charge through the field, especially at the end. We've seen Clint Fletcher do that multiple times this season. He's just returned after, I think, a season off, and he has really found the speed once again in this league, and right now challenging for a podium spot.
To the inside through the carousel, and he will get it easily. 171 didn't play any defense at all. You can kind of see he's just content right now with running around, ticking down the laps. But these leaders back at it again.
Yeah, Pavolano on the right side. Schiel with a good run. He's going to be able to pull alongside, get the nose in front. Yep, going to complete the pass.
And now does he set sail into the sunset, or do some of these guys from third place on back reel these boys back in? They pull out over 2.5 seconds. That's quite the gap. Even with just, a couple laps in, did these guys burn up the tires, Adam?
It's hard to say. What we've seen from Andy this season is if he gets to the lead this early, it's going to be about 15 seconds he's up the road by the end of the race. So we're going to have to just see exactly what he's been able to do. It does look like he's sliding a little bit, and then we've got Clint Fletcher in third, who's really been fast in this race here tonight. So that time around, 122.86 was his lap time to Andy Schiel's 122.12, so 0.7 difference. But I think Clint now with a little bit more clean air than he might have had during the last lap, so we'll see if he's able to pick up any time on those two.
And it was still a story here with fourth place on back, all within each other. Less than really 2 seconds across that entire board, and they're still racing. Matthew Guazinda had a peek there to the inside momentarily from Bruce Wiley, but got a better drive off. Glad to see that Colin Kortanik, he's sitting here in the 10th position, a little bit better run this time around, but he's got, looks like David Curtis. Nope.
Yeah, that is
no
David.
move that time.
Yeah, David Curtis and Colin were up at the front of the heat race before Colin started to make some mistakes, and then David went on to win the heat. But he has not been able to gain anything, really, just one position for David Curtis from where he started. So really benefited from the clean air out in front, and right now suffering the effects of dirty air all the way back here in the pack. And that is sometimes, the nature of these races. It's tough to make it through the field, and if you can't get to that clean air at any point, you might just be stuck where you're at. But
I tell you, they're full of dirty air in front of them.
Oh yeah, they are stuck nose to tail right here. Maddox Razzo, Darren Treacle, Bruce Wiley, Matthew Guazinda, nose to tail. A big run over the curb there, a little bit wide off into the
there's
cones.
A cone. He's playing defense with more surface of this track than they actually are allowed to use. I don't know if they have penalties turned on. Side by side through the carousel now.
Yeah, and Darren Treacle and Bruce Wiley are right on each other's doors here down this backstretch. We'll see if Darren gets the advantage under braking. He does.
Oh.
Yeah, able to get right by there, but it was very close. Bruce Wiley nearly got into the left rear of that number 70.
They touched flares. They touched flares for sure.
We go on board here. Matthew Guazinda, he's going to loop it right as we go on board.
Right in front of the field here.
Wow.
Everyone able to dodge it.
Little tag by Perry Duncan. Man, it has all happened in front of Perry here tonight. Oh, and there was a little contact, I think. We couldn't see that from inside the car. But looking at it, Matthew Guazinda. Yeah, he got hit by Darren Treacle, and that sent him around. So Darren, he's made contact with a few drivers here tonight, but this one ultimately causes Matthew Guazinda to go around as we go back live.
A spike strip there on the entry of that corner.
Yeah.
And that's a shame because Matthew was having such a good race. Now falls back to 14th, and he's 6.5 back from Carlos Bonds, and a total of 22 seconds away from the leader now, who's checked out.
Yeah, Andy Schiel 1.5 seconds up the road, up 6 positions from his 7th position starting spot. Michael Pavolano led a couple of laps there after starting in second. Has not been able to reel in Andy Schiel, although their lap times amongst the top 3, definitely the fastest of anyone in this field. And
and Pavolano has clean air now at this point with how far ahead Schiel is. It does help. He can maintain that lead to Fletcher, and it continues to grow. It's 3.5. It'll probably be closer to 4 here momentarily. No mistakes. It's easy to do here if you just run your own pace, your own line, and you're not playing defense for 19 plus.
Yeah, and that's the thing about road racing, really, is you're racing the track as much as you are racing all the other drivers, and it's about keeping it on the racetrack, and that's going to be your best chance at a good finish. You know, if you step 2 wheels off once during a race, it could be the difference between a win and 10th place. You know, and that's really how close these guys are. So much more competitive in this league than it used to be, and it's really great to see. I mean, look at this battle from 4th on back. These guys are all just nose to tail, and a wide range of skill sets and abilities amongst this group, but they have all started to get so much closer. As Aaron Dietrich towards the back of this pack. Harry Duncan, who's got a little bit of nose damage now on his Ferrari, maybe a little steering damage even. All the way back here in 12th. Change for 5th, and a little contact now. Scott Kim. Oof.
That's a lot of contact. They doored hard going into that entry.
Let's take a look at it. It was Scott Kim and Darren Treacle. Darren trying to get into the top 5.
That's 2.
Yeah, that is 2.
Treacle's been a kind of a battering ram here.
Yeah, we'll have to go to a different view of that one. It's really hard to say. Let's go overhead now. This was not sure if Darren shut the door. I think Scott might have been losing the back end. Maybe just a little bit as they went down into the corner. Yeah, he started to slide before he even made contact. I think he knew he was going to run into Darren. But we go back live now. And Scott has fallen all the way back to 15th. Unfortunate mistake, as he was having a nice run as well. But that's the difference, right? Just a little bit overstepping a corner, and that's the difference between running 6th and running 15th.
Yeah, and you've got all these other guys out here that have raced together for so long. They kind of know how each other will react, but then you get to a different location, everybody has a different line. It's hard to judge that if you're not used to racing with them on the track at that particular moment.
Yeah, every track's so different too, right? If you have a particular skill set, you know, that applies to some tracks and not others. You know, some guys are a little bit better on the braking, some guys are better at being delicate with the throttle and saving tires, and you know, can really lead to some calamity, right? If you're not expecting what another driver's able to do. And like you said, these guys don't always all run around each other, right? Sometimes you've got guys that are more towards the front, but tonight everybody seems to be pretty close on speed. And just want to check back.
If we could take it on board, kind of give an example here of what we're talking about, right on board with the leader, Andy Schiel, and see the clean air, see how he's getting around this place with a different line. He's very tight here in the carousel, and we'll ride half a lap or so with him, and then we'll go with somebody else here and kind of show, like, in traffic how much different it is. You can't keep these corners nice and tidy. You can't afford.
Right.
Sometimes you got to try to set up a pass, and you can't always run that line.
They're really charging in late on the brakes, hard on the brakes, and able to get pointed right where he wants. And like you said, nothing in the way to distract him.
Right. That's the difference maker right there.
And
this car's so reliant on downforce.
And obviously has a good feel for this racetrack. I mean, he's pointing it right where it needs to go. And a little bit of slide out of the back, but controlled. And we'll go further back in this group. David Curtis, who I believe is running alongside Jakub Bielik right now.
You can see kind of sharp movements in the steering wheel where he wants to correct and try to play defense, and then
he's constantly like in and out of the dirty air too, right? So it's the feel of the car changes, you know, mid-corner sometimes.
You'll see a lot more jostling of the wheel. You know, mistakes a little late on the apex there, but still a good drive off. You get the nose pointed to the next one. It's just a totally different ball game when you're back here in traffic.
Yeah, this is a corner that you really need all that downforce, right? And you can see he has to just lift a little bit more, has to work the wheel, you know, try and get that car to rotate, you know, other than just by downforce, and that can be really tough to do in a car that is majority downforce, right? They have so many elements on the bodies of these cars. David has gained some spots here as the race has gone on, so good to see him charging back up towards the front. But Andy Schiel has not set sail quite as much as I thought he would, but maybe just kind of managing. But Michael Pavolano and Clint Fletcher are really very, very quick tonight. And Clint has closed that gap up to Pavolano by about a second and a half, so he could be up there in battle for the runner-up spot.
And a lot of things happening here that have been exciting through the season and through all the racing here on V-Speed. If you guys are enjoying the action tonight, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single race. The BMW Car Club of America on what I believe is the 6th season that V-Speed has covered for them. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, I think we might even be higher than that. It might be season 8 at this point. But yeah, it's been a couple of years and a lot of seasons with these guys, and it's been a really good partnership. A lot of entertaining stuff, and good to see the league growing and also getting more partners alongside. We do have a few more you know, leagues coming on board with us throughout 2024. We announced today that the Sunoco Cup Series is going to be on board starting next Sunday, so you're going to want to tune in on Sundays. It's a big-time league with a lot of really great drivers, sponsored by Sunoco, Max Pappas Innovations, Auto Tempest, and a few others, so really good to see that group join us, and looking forward to putting on a good show for them. But you
Phase it in with Y, Adam.
yeah.
That's where we broadcast now.
Yeah, every day you can tune in and see at least 1 or 2 races here on the V-Speed channels, and make sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date with what we're doing. You can check out all of our sponsors as well down in the video description. We got Visible Wireless as well, Butt Kicker. You saw an ad for them during the halfway break, and a few others as well, so make sure to check those out. Got some good offers and discounts that you can find down in the video description. But back to the race at hand. The top 3, they are long gone. You just see Darren Treacle peek into the picture there out of turn number 1, but he is almost 10 seconds back of Clint Fletcher.
That's a long distance, and as the time ticks down, really, I think the 4th through 7th are racing each other, but the top 3, I don't think, unless they make a big mistake, are going to change.
Yeah, Clint Fletcher is making some inroads here for 2nd place, but it's still a long ways. And Aaron Dietrich has gone around. Oh boy, close call there in turn number 2.
He's still having struggles. He went around earlier in this race.
See what happens here. Got in the back of Scott Kim, who got turned around not long ago. Or rather, that was David Curtis, not Scott Kim. But we go back
winner
live.
of stage 1.
We will be coming back to 2 to go now, as Andy Schiel through the final corner is out in front. His lead 3.3 seconds. Last lap 1:22.42. Michael Pavolano 1:22.49, and then Clint Fletcher, fastest car on the track, 1:22.24. But yeah, I mean, if you just look at fastest lap times in this race, Andy Schiel's in the 1:21s, and nobody else has broken that barrier. So the 6 car on rails all season long, and going to add another win to his tally and continue to extend that points lead. He has just been dominant. Even missing a race this season, he continues to lead the points. So that is just how strong he has been. He's got a couple more laps, still an opportunity to let it go here, but I don't think I don't expect that mistake from the driver of that number 6 machine. He's been very strong. But we'll see if there's any other battles on track. Looks like Bruce Wiley, Maddox Razzo, 5th and 6th. About the closest battle that we've got at the moment. And they'll be coming back.
Biggest mover of the race, Colin Kortanek. Good rebound compared to that first heat. He's up to 7th. He's up 7 positions.
Yeah, definitely a lot better run this time around. But you know, you've probably made that one mistake, and then you're just kind of kicking yourself, and it's hard to focus. And
yeah.
Ultimately, like you said, I think he kind of gave up on the heat
Well,
race.
We've seen him here on V-Speed quite a few times win, so we know that he's capable of driving these machines. It's just a matter of, okay, you get behind, you start to push it as we approach the white flag. You just push it harder and harder every lap, and you get into a bad spot.
Yeah, once you slip the tires on any car in iRacing, it becomes that much harder to handle the race car. So, yeah, he slid the tires, and then he slid them again and again, and multiple drivers we've seen have issues like that here tonight.
No issues here for the 6 of Andy Schiel. He is 4 seconds ahead of the field. He will come off these last few corners and drive it like he stole it. I mean, he put it up front. 6 positions gained. He did steal this win, in my opinion. The 6 car finds the clean air early, and he's gone.
And the battle is on for second. I mean, it would take a mistake, I think, from Michael Pavolano, who goes a little bit wide. That gap was at 1.3 seconds. So Clint Fletcher really pouring it on here. He's got now down under 1 second. He's going to send it down in the last corner. But it's going to be too little too late. Out of the final turn, Andy Schiel, the winner at Mid-Ohio. Your points leader extending that lead. Pavolano second. Clint Fletcher going to round out the podium as they slam it off down into turn number 1.
Always great to see. Test the damage model for iRacing.
Yeah, they must have the R&D crew out in the stands watching to see how things react. But yeah, everybody's sending it off into the turn there, and always fun to see. These guys don't take it too seriously. But Brian Kennedy, Carlos Bonds, Aaron Dietrich.
Are in the fence here. Oh, I gotta see this. Hold that camera on him. He's gonna come in here and finish the guy that, oh, he's not in the fence anymore. There was a car stuck there, and yeah, as you can see, you still need a little testing done with the damage model for parts. But yeah, here's your final results up on the screen now, and it was a good one, Adam. I enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, definitely a fun time here at Mid-Ohio, and Andy Schiel able to run through the field in the feature race and take the victory. He starts 7th, comes home your winner. Michael Pavolano 2nd, Clint Fletcher 3rd, Darren Treacle 4th, Maddox Razzo in 5th, Bruce Wiley 6th, Colin Kortanek in 7th, 8th was David Curtis, 9th Perry Duncan, and Jakob Bielik going to round out the top 10. In 11th, it was Brian Kennedy, 12th Carlos Bonds, 13th Aaron Dietrich, 14th Matthew Gazenda, 15th was Scott Kim, and then Mike Nickum did not start the race, but he'll be scored in 16th position. We'll be back after a quick commercial break, and we will interview your top 3 and driver of the day. From the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, trading paints, or via email. Matt Motorsports is a sim racing rentals and events company. We supply businesses and individuals with sim rigs for all types of events, from birthdays and bachelor parties to team building retreats and corporate events. We have packages to suit all types of occasions. Founded by an automotive industry veteran and BMW lover, Matt Motorsports' mission is to spark joy in current and future car enthusiasts. Learn more at mattmotorsports.com. Back at the racetrack now. We're going to be pulling in our race winner, who I believe maybe just jumped out of here while I wasn't looking. Oh man, we just missed him.
He's disappeared.
He is
Andy
gone.
Schiel was the winner.
Yeah, he is your race winner here tonight. Your points leader, started in 7th, able to charge all the way to the lead and drive away, winning by over 4 seconds over second place finisher Michael Pavolano. But that is another win in the books for Andy Schiel, who's just been on a dominant spree here in the winter season in the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. And so I guess we'll move on to second place here tonight, and that is going to be Michael Pavolano. See if we can get him down here in the booth with us. Bradley, I believe you're with him.
Michael Pavolano, we're down here in the pit road hanging out. Long time no see, buddy. Good to see you back.
I know. Thanks, Bradley.
So, Michael, you had kind of a rough start. The first heat didn't go quite as planned, but I know when you get that car up in clean air, that 111 is fast.
Yeah, it's with this track, it's about tire management. So the first heat, I haven't ran this track for a while, so tire management was it wasn't that good the first heat. So I lost control of the car a couple of times there, and then learned a little bit on the next heat. But once Andy gets clean air and gets past you, it's hard to catch him too. So really fast. So, but yeah, it was good. Thank you. Yeah,
you led some laps here tonight. You got started up here in second. You made quick work of the lead, and I believe that was the 171 who ends up finishing 10th. So you made quick work of that, but it just starting with these fields the way they do on the invert, you guys were pretty tight for the first 5 positions in the first half of this race.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the history of of the league, how everybody sort of evolved, got better in terms of racing, and if you look at the times are really tight. So, being in the lead really is not sometimes that comfortable because somebody's behind you. But it just goes to show the talent in this league, week in and week out.
Well, Michael, speaking of talent, you get second position here tonight in the second heat. Is there anybody that you would like to shout out, thank for tonight's performance?
Yeah, shout out to I guess everybody that comes out week in and week out. Great bunch of guys, lots of fun. Thanks to the admins, Scott for organizing this, and our sponsors, right? Duncan Racing Design, Gunfire Games, and Mate Motorsports, and to you guys for a great broadcast. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate your time, and Michael, it was great. I mean, it's good to be back up here in the booth and get to cover you guys here in the Car Club of America, and we thank you for your time, buddy.
Thanks. Nice talking to you, Bradley.
Second place finisher of the night, Michael Pavolano in the number 111, and I believe Adam Baker has caught up on pit road with Clint Fletcher.
Yes, sir. We got him here in the booth. Clint Fletcher, this is Adam and Bradley in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, Clint, you had a lot of speed here tonight. You end up on the podium in the feature race, and you had quite the run in the heat race as well. I believe ended up on the podium in both races. Just describe your night here in Mid-Ohio and the close racing that we saw.
Actually, Heat 1, I believe it was Dave, someone else, and Darren. Maddox and Darren. I came in 4th on that one, but overall, I mean, super good race, super happy with the results. This track is incredibly hard to pass, so I think when we're all clumped up together in the first 1 to 3 laps is the time to make your passes, or just wait for people to spin out.
Yeah, we saw some guys overstepping it a few times, but definitely a fast and challenging track here at Mid-Ohio. But you ended up putting down some great laps, competitive with the leaders, and you closed in the margin there at the end. So you had a lot of momentum at the end of this race. We go to Zandvoort next week. How do you feel about going out there?
If everything goes as planned, I don't think I will make that, as Monday my wife and I will be in the hospital for our baby girl.
Well, definitely much more important to go and be there for that. So congratulations, hoping that all goes well with that, and hopefully all is good there. They're both safe and healthy You know,
If you
following.
say if it goes to plan, you're having a kid, it never goes to plan, Clint.
Yeah, I guess that is true. Hopefully she'll let me finish up the
Congratulations.
season, but we'll see.
Well, we would be understanding if you weren't able to. But man, you had a great season so far, and continuing to show up week in and week out with great speed. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to for the podium finish here tonight?
Once again, you guys for the broadcast. Can't wait to watch it back. The guys for hosting this league, Harry for the liveries, and then all of the gracious people who sponsor us.
Awesome, Clint. Well, great to see you once again. Thanks for your time, and hopefully all goes well, and we might see you back in a few weeks.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and we got to pick a driver of the day. You know, I have one in mind. I don't know if you've got one in mind there, Bradley, but I was thinking Maddox, possibly, for driver of the day. Really strong runs here.
My vote was going to go to the 32 on his rebound, but
Okay.
we'll go with Maddox. Yeah, I mean, either one of these guys, but Maddox has definitely been the consistent guy here today. He was in the top 5 for both heats, and an excellent drive for him all night. Very aggressive at times. You could see how well he drove. And I think him and Andy Schiel are kind of in that same department where they're able to drive that Porsche a little bit better than the rest of the field in certain parts of the racetrack.
Yeah, he definitely had a very impressive run here in his first showing with the league. As you know, what, Colin Kornick is here in the Discord, so we'll also pull him in and give him a quick chat and see how things went for him here tonight. Hey, Colin, this is Adam and Bradley in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good, man. We named you co-driver of the day. You had kind of a, you had a good start to the night in that first heat race. Kind of lost the handle on the car and probably didn't finish.
Yeah, it was a great start and it was a horrible mid and finish. So I don't know why you have me in the booth.
We pulled you up because of your performance in the feature race. You found something and were able to gain 7 spots. The biggest mover actually in the feature race. So that's the rebound is really
Notable.
Yeah, very notable. So I don't know, just what did you learn in race 1 that you were able to carry over? It was not.
Yeah,
not.
I mean, the cars were moving all over the place, and obviously there was one section where I spun in the first race. And pretty much that's where most of the incidents took place. I don't know what that exact turn number is, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, just trying to get a little bit more dialed in, try to be a little bit smoother in that second race and just capitalize on others' mistakes. So luckily in the second race, people were making mistakes where I had made mistakes in the first race, and just, it was just much more consistent. So, but it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I needed Brian to spin for me to get around Dave Curtis because I couldn't do that in the first race. But at least I figured out the secret to the immovable object.
Yeah, you had a really great run up there at the front for a little while, and really good resilience to be able to come back here in that feature race and have a good performance.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. Yeah, I was pretty frustrated by the end of the first race, so I'm glad I was able to just hunker down and put a little more focus into it and be able to compete with some of these guys. But tough track. I mean, everybody was sliding everywhere. Everybody was struggling to control the car. So, but it made it a lot of fun. That last race, everybody's heartbeat was going because we're all so close to each other.
Yeah, definitely tight racing. Some of the tightest we've seen, this season. I think we had one a few weeks ago where it was pretty nose to tail like this. But we go to Zandvoort, and how do you feel about going there next?
Ooh, that's a fun track. I like that one a lot. That's always a good time. So I love the USA to Europe legs of the trip. Always get a little bit of jet lag, but it'll be exciting, and I think most of the people in the league, they love that track too, so it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it, and I'm sure you guys will put on a great show for us. But anybody want to give a shout out to for tonight's race?
Obviously, just to all the sponsors, to Perry and all them, and just to Scott for putting this league together, and I love the fact that it's grown a little bit. We got some new members that have been racing with us the past few weeks, and it's just a blast. Having almost 20 racers out there and being so close, being competitive, and learning how to race with each other. So it's been awesome. So just thanks to everybody for racing hard and trying to race clean and be respectful.
Awesome, Colin. Well, definitely is fun to see the league growing and continuing to be successful, and see you have a good race out there in that feature event. But we'll catch you next week at Zandvoort. Have a good night.
All right, nice to talk to both of you guys. Have a great night.
You too.
Appreciate you, Colin.
All right, bye.
That'll do it here tonight from Mid-Ohio, and he did mention a few new guys in the league, so some of these new drivers that we saw are actually from the BMW Car Club of America Ohio region. So these guys, you know,
My
this
neck
would
of
be,
the woods.
yeah, this would be one of their home tracks. So, yeah, cool to see the league growing and expanding in that way. I know there's members from all over the globe in this league, but you know, it's awesome to see more members of the BMW Car Club of America joining them here tonight. So, Bradley, any kind of final thoughts before we head on out?
Well, my final thought is it's good to see that they're growing. They're continuing on with what they wanted to do here from the very start. BMW Car Club of America will be live again next week, next Thursday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Thank you for having me up here, Adam, and I appreciate the opportunities.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. It's fun to have a commentator up here. First time in a while for me, so definitely fun to have you in here and your insight as well. And again, I hope everyone enjoyed the broadcast. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you did, and check out all the other action we have coming throughout the rest of the week and the rest of 2024. Everybody have a great night.